Sci-Fi.
Hey everybody, welcome to Real Life Sci-Fi with Wade and Willie. I'm Wade.
I'm Willie.
This is a podcast about the paranormal and contemporary mythology. Join us on patreon.com/real-life-sci-fi for access to 2 bonus episodes a week, video feeds, and more. Let's welcome aboard the SSRLSF, our good friend, writer, Adam Garland. What up, Adam?
Hi, hello.
Anyone ever call you
dude.
Ad Rock?
Yeah, it's been done. I don't mean
Okay.
that it's derivative. I mean there's precedent,
Yeah.
and I encourage it because who doesn't like or did it? Wait, is he dead now or who's dead?
Oh, I don't remember.
Which one's dead?
Willie, which Beastie Boys dad?
Yeah, it's Ad Rock.
Adam, thank you for being here. How into the conspiracy world are you? Do you get down into the YouTube rabbit holes? Is there a fascination that you have with any of this stuff?
No, I don't like. I really don't watch YouTube. I'm not a conspiracy guy.
Okay, fair enough. Are you a skeptic too? So you're not even not only are you not into it, but you also don't believe it.
Generally, no. But having said that, I'm very open to like anything is possible, if that makes sense.
Yeah,
So,
it makes sense. It just doesn't seem like you're being truthful. I mean,
why so? Or are you projecting that you think I'm not being truthful?
I guess you're right. I mean, if I'm looking at it from my point of view, I like talking about this stuff, but I've never liked it enough to dive into any of it. So it
Well,
sounds like you're kind of like me.
I mean, take like yeah, like I fucking love history, right? So,
Okay.
I mean, I just love I mean, any kind of I mean, I read a ton, and I guess
Hmm.
I've always been obsessed with like optical illusions and logical fallacies. So the idea of a conspiracy or like how can people believe a thing that probably isn't real? Like what games does the mind play on itself? That's interesting. But if you're asking me, do I buy it? Usually not.
Willie, why don't you answer that for him? What goes on in your mind, dude?
I agree that there are a lot of cases of our brain is smart enough to fill in the blanks using our beliefs to make things real.
Hmm.
So, you believe in God, then the paranormal things that you experience or times that you think they might be paranormal and they might not even be, your brain fills the holes and makes us angels.
Or
So
demons?
I
yeah, it
mean,
ain't demons. Yeah, yeah. And so, because like I was always a science guy, but I'm like, I see the possibilities of things that aren't science being real, thinking that our science needs to catch up with the reality of the world. And that's a projection of my beliefs.
yeah. I mean, yeah.
So does that answer your question? What what goes on in the mind of a conspiracy theorist?
It's unresolved trauma.
Sorry,
What goes
I got to
on.
throw a bubble.
That's the answer. What goes
I
on.
don't think it's unresolved trauma. I think it's boredom. I think it's a search for meaning and also a complacency with like the way that things are. Like everything's so boring right now.
This is another
Like,
thing that you're gonna think I'm sorry to cut you off, but like I don't understand getting bored, I guess. But I guess that's also just because like my mind is always going so
oh my God,
like what the fuck are
fucking
you
brag
talking about? But I knew
much.
that you would say if I said I don't understand boredom, you'd be like, ah, he's full of shit. So like
No,
what
it's not that you're full of shit. I mean, it's that like what an amazing time it must be to be fascinated by everything around you.
no, it's I mean sometimes. I mean it's both. It's torture sometimes. It's like really exhausting. Uh
How do you relax? Do you play video games?
No, I don't really like it. Although I did was sort of thinking like I've just been working so hard, I should get that Switch 2 that just came out, and that like I'm having it's so much fun. Maybe I just haven't played a video game in years, and I'm
Oh,
enjoying it more than I
so you
should.
followed through and you did get the Switch too.
I did get it because I
What are
felt
you
like a
playing?
guy. I just played Tetris. It's not even like and Mario Kart,
You
obviously.
don't have to
Something like
spend
that.
$700 to play Tetris. I don't even know how much it is. It's got to be around there, right?
It was so much more than it should be. That was also shocking. It was like with tax, like 500
Tariffs,
something.
tariffs,
Yeah,
tariffs.
Yeah,
but
You blame
geez.
Trump for that shit.
And so when I was there, like waiting in line for it, some reporter came and it was and interviewed me. Unfortunately, I'm not
Where
even
were you? Wait, hang on. Where were you? Because
I
we all live in the same area. I want to know where you went and where
it
the
was the
reporter was.
Atwater. I walked there. It was so close to me. It's the Los Feliz Best Buy or Atwater Best Buy.
Yeah,
Uh,
yeah.
yeah,
Let's get into the WOW scale here. The WOW scale stands for Wade or Willie. It's a 5-question quiz. At the end of the 5 questions, I will give you a score anywhere between 0 and 5. If you're more of a 0, you're more of a Wade. If you're more of a 5, you're more of a Willie. Are you ready to be Wade on the WOW scale?
So ready.
Okay, first question, 3-parter. Do you believe in aliens? If so, have they visited Earth? If so, have they visited Earth in the last 300 years?
Yes, yes, yes.
Are they here now?
No, don't they come in? Don't they like when we got like say like the Oppenheimer shit?
Yeah.
Like they come in to
Allegedly. I mean, that's
I
what
buy
Willie
that.
says.
That doesn't seem crazy to me.
Yeah, that's a storyline that has been kind of held back from the public. That like, yeah, a lot of UFO sightings anytime we do nuclear tests or they follow the nukes, and it's like they're shutting down nuclear sites and turning them back on, being like,
That reminds me too. Haven't they already basically like confirmed it in the past couple of years, like since the pandemic and all the rules have been thrown out the window again?
They changed the definite. They never say aliens. Question number 2, ghosts.
Uh, it's changing. I'm getting more of. I would say.
What changed for you recently? Did you have a scare?
Do you remember that place in Normandy that Aaron and I lived at that used to be like an old brothel, I think? I remember living in that place. That was when I started to believe in ghosts potentially or
Did you
supernatural.
get the Dan Aykroyd treatment?
Wait, what does that mean in this context?
Well, he got blown in Ghostbusters by a
Oh,
ghost.
no, this was sad. That
Hey,
place.
question number 3.
Yeah.
Bigfoot.
I mean, never say never, but I'm not convinced in the way that like other life would come.
But it sounds like no. It sounds like a no to me.
That's kind of a no.
All right, that's a no. Was 9/11 an inside job?
It's crazy. It defies logic. That's a tough pill for me to swallow.
So no.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I thought. All right, last question. 5th question.
Yeah.
On the WOW scale. The multiverse. Do you believe that the multiverse could be a real thing?
No, that's so annoying. No.
Was it annoying just because of the Marvel movies, or is it annoying as a concept?
I guess probably the Marvel movies. You're right. Yeah, I mean, it's just so
a
I mean,
good
I enjoyed the
concept.
everything everywhere all the time, whatever movie. That was fun. That was
Sure.
good.
So you don't think there's any other dimension that you could cross over into, where the red lights are green and the green lights are red and the dogs meow,
No, I just think
cats
it's
bark.
like future nostalgia. Do you know what I mean? It's like the new version of nostalgia. It's just like people are depressed and in denial.
So Adam is a 2. We're gonna put him at a 2. All right, let's get to the topic. Willie, hit us with it.
tonight on Real Life Sci-Fi, undiagnosed autism. There's some adults out there now getting diagnosed late in their lives with autism, like our guest Adam. After learning about everything associated with being neurodiverse, Adam believes the United States Secretary of Health and Human Services, RFK Jr., may himself be undiagnosed with autism. Let's hear his case tonight on Real Life Sci-Fi. I don't want to get too specific on everything, but I definitely think that if you just look at the way that our system works, it is geared towards corporations and not towards individuals. So I don't mind us having this snafu of like, shit's not so great right now, just so that maybe we can focus and make things better and try to pay attention to why things are shitty and how we can change them now.
Can I just ask you before we move on, because fluoride is the big thing, right? Like we talked about fluoride a lot on this show, and you don't like fluoride. You go out of your way to avoid fluoride.
Yeah.
And now he's talking about like banning fluoride. Dude, I don't want this to be the topic, and I want this to be as quick as possible. But just have you seen the studies about states that got rid of fluoride and then their fucking teeth just like suck? They have so many fucking cavities and shit. Have you seen that? And the question is the trade-off okay for you? Like, if you think that fluoride is calcifying your pineal gland, are you okay with like losing teeth to uncalcify your pineal gland?
I think that fluoride is a neurotoxin. And if you're getting cavities, you don't even need fluoride in your toothpaste. You need hydroxyapatite, whatever, like the minerals that your teeth are made of is
Allegedly.
how you should brush your teeth. Okay, I'll answer your question. I have not seen those studies, but I'm so biased that I think that all those are put out by the companies that are still trying to push that shit. You know what I mean? Like,
Just like the
yeah, fair enough. So you're like, yeah, fuck the industry, but like he's whatever. I don't want this to be a thing, but he's making weird decisions. But anyway,
I mean, he's making. All right, we're not there yet. I shouldn't start
no,
talking.
let's do it. No,
Oh, because
now's
he's
the
really the
time.
thing is like one of the things that even made me reach out to you guys in the first place with this pitch because like and we've known each other for a while and I'm generally not a sound the alarm kind of guy, right? Like I'm not but what's happening here, especially the thing that really the autism registry or even the idea that
Oh
like
yeah, because he hates autism too. I forgot
yeah,
about that.
that's really why I reached out because he's talking about eugenics. Like he literally is.
Yeah.
I don't know if you remember how everyone's other favorite Holocaust started. Not with the Jews, but again with the autistic people and the ones who, I guess if you were like the little professor type and they figured they could use you to figure out how to like,
Like turning or whatever.
yeah, like Rain Man, Mousetrap,
Yeah,
shoes or
yeah,
whatever. Like you might
yeah,
be
yeah,
useful, but
yeah.
otherwise, they would kill you. Like that's how that started.
Right.
When RFK, says that someone uh they only have value as a human if they're able to produce capital. Very
But here's
fucking
the thing.
cool.
Here's the thing, because let me stop you right there
Yeah,
because
because also I think I'm saying things I don't necessarily mean.
oh well no, I mean it's all kind of like these fucking talking heads say some shit and you never really know. I will give him the benefit of the doubt when he said that and he's like, they're never gonna experience love and they're never gonna like have a job and shit. I don't even know if he knows what autism is,
But
you know?
this might be me projecting, but I think he's using the example of neurodivergent people that need to have a caregiver forever. You know what I
Yes,
mean? It's
that's
not like,
and that's what I think too. And but you can't just if you're in
but
the
so
you can't just say some
I
shit
know.
like
It's it
that.
was
You can't
it's
do
too
like an
broad.
umbrella fucking yes.
Because
But
like when you're diagnosed with autism, you don't lose any rights. But if you need a full-time caregiver, some states will take away your right to vote.
here's the
I didn't
thing.
know that.
I'm worried that I'm bearing the lead too, because like when
Yeah,
That's
no.
fine.
What's the lead?
because when it started for me, it was like RFK Jr. He's obviously projecting in the way that like the pray the gay, the way pastors who are screaming
Yeah, yeah,
gay
yeah,
or whatever.
yeah.
It's like that,
Sure.
right? So I was like, he's got, especially with the spasmodic dysphonia or whatever that he thinks came from a vaccine, but there's no explanation for that neurological disorder either, coincidentally enough. Like that's how this started for me. But then when I started doing the research, it became so clear so fast. Oh, all of the Kennedys are autistic. And well, that's the thing, right? Because the
That
world is
can't
so
be.
big. Well, no.
JFK was like, wasn't he one of the most charismatic presidents we've ever had? And isn't charisma
Well,
sort
no,
of
if
the
you,
antif the anti autism? I mean, correct me if I'm wrong, but
yeah. Well, can I
autism
ask you some
doesn't normally
questions?
come with. Yes.
Okay, because this is the other thing. Because as I started to discover this, and I was like, whoa, this is crazy. And I started feeling like a crazy person. I had to start talking to other people about it to get out of my head. Like, so I started reaching out to doctors I knew and like friends and just trying to hit them with stuff. And I was realizing like how little everyone knows about the Kennedys. Wait,
Well,
I
if
think I
this is a
lost you.
Kennedy quiz, I will fail, man.
That's the thing. But it's not, there's no shame in failing because, like, do you remember who the Kennedy that started it all was?
I'm just assuming to be a president of the United States of America, you have to do a fair amount of social glad handing. And I just don't think an autist, the way that I'm seeing them, could work up through those ranks. Or are you saying it's nepotism? You're bringing up like a previous Kennedy here.
It's a combination of a bunch of things. And the thing is like, it's not even that, it's all like well documented stuff. So for starters, it's like Joe Kennedy, like the patriarch of the whole family. That's Joe Kennedy of RKO Pictures. Like he's like what basically the only non-Jewish Hollywood studio head. Do you know what I mean? Like he's an outsider who came up from nothing and started one of the most famous movie studios ever and became one of the most richest men ever. And that's relevant to me here for two reasons. One, everything we now know. Two, I mean the Kennedys, they were depicted as royalty because
Camelot, they had the persona
yeah, the
of
whole idea of it. It's
saviors of America.
and like
Uh-huh.
they were all famously very sick. It's like you know that famous like what was it like the Navy story of with the JFK like that the boat
Yeah,
fucked up.
yeah.
They made a movie out of it.
What is this?
The incident that basically started JFK's career. Uh,
Everyone was sick?
no, no, no. Oh well, the thing about the Kennedys.
I don't know. You just referenced the Navy thing where everyone was sick, and I and Willie agreed. I don't know. I don't know this. What is
Oh.
this?
JFK had what is it, Addison's disease? Like he was really, really disabled throughout his entire life. That's one of the big
Yeah,
of his presidency.
he couldn't walk half the time. Like,
Yeah.
JFK?
JFK. And he
What
was
is it
one of the
called?
golden ones. Like RFK, RFK Jr.'s dad, he was the runt of the litter. And that's not to mention like
I
the
don't think
the
humans have
daughter they
litters
lobotomized.
runs. They lobotomized a daughter? Well, this just sounds like evil rich people shit.
Thing. And like all of RFK Jr.'s kids have asthma, which is also an autoimmune. I mean, there's correlation. I mean,
I don't know. I got
anyway, that's all
asthma.
beside the point because that's like small potatoes. No pun intended because they
but
came
yeah, a lot of
from.
people don't know about the sibling that was lobotomized that they kind of hid from the public, right? Sure. I mean, there's a documentary out there now that points it out, but a lot of people don't know that.
It came out in the 60s, like in 1960 or 61 when he was running, but then it's like the Kennedys keep getting shot, so that kind of becomes like the lead story, right? Like, and also because, you know, I think that subject is taboo, it sort of makes sense that
So I'm just looking up Addison's disease. It's a hormone deficiency. You can get tired, you can get dizzy, you can sweat a lot from low blood sugar. I might have this. Pain in the stomach, body hair loss. Hey, with that, but let me ask you guys. This is off topic. Did either of you start with body hair? I mean, after puberty?
Always had very little, but I don't have any hair where I wear my long socks.
But that's what I think. Like I feel like I've lost a lot of body hair, but I think it's because I've lived for years with clothes rubbing against.
Yeah, it's like sanding your skin. It like
Yeah.
this is
rubs the
like
hair
part of
off and then like
COVID or
makes the
something.
skin thicker.
Sorry, that's off topic. So okay, so let's get back to well, okay, so JFK, so they're all fucked up. So what does this have to do with RFK?
Oh, well, I mean, that's classic projection, right? I mean, because that's another thing that I found out really easily because it's everywhere is that Ethel, RFK Jr.'s mom, her biggest fear in life because of how many kids with disabilities they kept having, her biggest fear was having a quote unquote, her words, this is Ethel Kennedy's words, a mentally retarded child.
Uh-huh.
So, you know, and I sort of went through this too in a way. It's like, why would you want your kid to be autistic, right? Especially based on like what the understanding of it is at the time. So any kind of
Hang
behavior,
on. The question is, why would I want my kid to be autistic? I'll give you a bunch of reasons.
sure, yeah, I'd love them.
I can use him for math. Him or her, I guess. I guess I should say they. They can come up with some kind of scheme, that I couldn't figure out or something. Like if I'm like trying to rob something, they could be like, "Well, you
Well,
just need to do
this is
this."
reminding
It's
me of
like
like, oh,
the
sorry.
classic version of AI,
Hmm.
the human version of
That's
AI.
what it is.
What do you
That's
mean?
it's just it's just a person. It's a person that you can go to and be like, "Hey, what do you know about this?" And then they just rattle off the answer, and you're like, "Amazing! That's so amazing."
Oh, I see what you're saying. Yeah, it's like, well, that's sort of part of like, I'd never watched Star Trek until I dated Erin, so she was the first person to show me that, and I guess I didn't like know anything about Spock or Data, and those characters like made me come basically, just
I don't understand how you can. So we need to hear more about your
oh yeah.
history with this because, like, when were you diagnosed, and why retrospectively? Because, like, I can't imagine a person with autism not watching Star Trek.
Um,
Like, you had a girlfriend who introduced you to Star Trek. That just seems like the complete opposite
oh,
of the way an autistic would discover Star Trek.
well, 'cause, I mean, no, it's a good put. You're right. I mean, but it's also sort of part of what made me able to see some of the stuff that like the greater populace is missing in the Kennedy story. Do you know what I mean? It's like sort of that cliche of like the eyes can't see what the mind doesn't know, right? Like if you perception is reality, right? So If
But why weren't you drawn to what I'm trying not to do is put every neurodivergent.
Oh, well, that's sort of I keep thinking and I keep wanting to bring up. It annoys me so much that they keep making the circle bigger. Do you know what I mean? Because that's why like
So,
diagnosis is so
so now you're
high right now.
gatekeeping too.
Well, and it's
Noted, you don't like neurodivergent. So, what do I call autistic people? Do I have to say those two words or can I just say autist?
oh, you can say whatever you. I'm of the mind
No, I just mean correctly and Englishly. Uh,
it's
what
not
do I
even
say? Autist?
Yeah, you can say
neurodivergent would probably be the way to go, but neurodivergent isn't actually a diagnosis. That's more of like a political affiliation.
yeah.
But so you got diagnosed. Why weren't you into all the things that every autistic that I know is into? And that's why I was like, I don't want to put you in a box.
How'd
But
you
what do you
miss it?
think? What do you think? Yeah, what do you
How
think
did I
is the
miss it?
difference?
Oh,
Yeah.
well, I had like like a really, really like super traumatic childhood. So like anytime someone was like, "Why is that kid so fucked up?" It's like, well, that he had a fucked up childhood, which is sort of the same thing with the Kennedys when it's like, because they all think that they're, drug addicted fuck ups, like it's in them. Like, and people think like, oh, well, they're probably fucked up because, all their parents keep getting shot, but that's really not it. Like it's a good cover. Because the other thing was like I started therapy decades ago. Like I've been in like literally like every single like treatment modality there is. Uh,
Mhm.
and as I'm learning, it doesn't really work on autistic people because you're not treating the right thing.
I want to know some specific clues you see in RFK Jr. that tip you off to the idea that he's
Yeah,
either unaware or
am
what's
I
that?
allowed to grab books? I actually
Oh yeah,
brought
yeah.
I have a bunch of books. This is a good one. This Unmasking Autism book by Devin Price. This is very recent. All right. So the first one for mass autistics, the most common problem that they have, problem drinking or substance use. We definitely
Yeah.
RFK
Well,
Jr. has that
it's like
famously.
80% of people.
Well, yes, exactly, because most people don't want to look at this. It's a big piece. Next, eating disordered behavior, which is like any kind of
What
picky.
number is a brainworm? If you had a brainworm, you might be autistic.
Wait, I don't know if I get that joke,
Oh,
but
because he has a brain. RFK had a brainworm.
oh well, that's the other thing. I don't know if I've said that out loud or I only thought it. Like he fucking he thinks that he got that thing. Like he thinks that's from a vaccination he got in his 40s.
The voice thing?
Yeah, yeah, the spasmodic dysphonia.
Is it like a Parkinson's kind of thing or something?
Well, they really don't know in the same way that they really don't know. I mean, even with like autism and Asperger's too, I was sort of shocked to find out as I started really doing the research recently, like the DSM in the 90s, there were a couple typos in it that would have basically invalidated like every single screening for the decade. Do you know what I mean? Like that's our whole, because I remember one of my siblings was tested or evaluated for Asperger's in the 90s and was said to have not had it, but they really could have had it because there was a typo in the DSM that was affecting literally all of the potential diagnoses.
Wow.
And this isn't even conspiracy stuff. This is stuff you can look at. It's like all the books that I have here at my floor today, there's nothing like hard to find. It's all just like basic facts about like a couple different schools of knowledge, like the most up-to-date
Well,
information.
but let's get back to RFK and the why you think he has autism.
Because I mean, well, the spasmodic dysphonia is huge. The addictions are huge. The fact that as I started reading all these books about him, all of the friends and people that knew him, they described him as someone as it's like he had attention deficit disorder, which is also we're understanding now like ADHD. That's not necessarily mutually exclusive with autism. They're often coexisting. Do you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
Yeah,
or did you guys see Zone of Interest last year? I
I
know
can't. I'm not gonna watch that. I don't know why
you know
people
what
go
it's
to
about.
movies where they just want to be. Yeah, it's about the Holocaust, Willie.
Not really. It's funny. Like it's really funny. Like it shouldn't be, but it's so.
That's not what I heard.
That's because I think most people are in denial about their part in it, right? Like that's sort of like that movie sort of goes. to show how I don't want to say much trouble we're in, but it's like that movie like really goes out of its way to kind of prove, I think, like there's no such thing as monsters. Like the Nazis were just regular people, right? Like there's no such thing as evil. Like this stuff just
Willie has
happens
thoughts
and
on
people look
evil,
away.
right? We haven't talked about it in a long time, Willie. What are your current thoughts on good and evil?
I tend to believe that there is not evil, and it's just people trying to get ahead or trying to take advantage of something, and that they're not. But then you hear about people like torturing people, but then I'm like, what goes through your mind to be able to torture someone is more an exploration of life. Maybe I'm not trying to like defend
I
torture.
mean, yeah, no. I think it's like you would have to be sociopathic in some degree to
And
to
so not
torture
having
somebody.
empathy to me is closer to evil. What someone would define as evil. I'm like, well,
I mean,
Yeah, no, enough said. They don't give the torture jobs to the people with empathy. And if you don't have empathy, something is wrong with you, right?
yeah.
What else do you see? So you got the alcoholism, you got or
Yeah.
addiction, whatever.
I sent Willie a video of Ethel Kennedy and Robert F. Kennedy Jr.'s dad on Edward R. Murrow's show. And Ethel and Murrow are talking about Robert Kennedy, and it's like Robert Kennedy is not in the room. And Robert Kennedy is doing like these they call it like like there's all different like I honestly didn't even know that I did some of it until like people pointed it out to me, like hand flapping or like you kind of just got to see it. You know what I mean? Like it's repetitive rhythmic motion that you do like when you're in a stressful situation. Do you know what I
Oh,
mean?
like in movies when there's an autistic kid, they're always like curled up in the corner, rocking back and forth,
Yeah,
like
that's a
that.
stim. Yeah, that's like an over the top stim kind of. Yeah.
Got it. So his dad was doing that on Edward Murrow, and then what did he do? What did he do it? RFK Jr.
Oh, well, that's the thing. Yeah, they all do shit like that. They're all, if you look at any home movies of them, they're all stimming. Even in like I didn't even have to read like, trashy, but like I could just read like RFK Jr.'s
It's like an F.
biography.
Scott Fitzgerald party, and they're all just in the corner, like rocking back and forth. That's a pretty good
It's why they're on it's why
visual.
they're in a compound away from everyone for a reason, right?
If you say so. I mean, I don't know. I don't like people, but it's not because I am autistic unless I am. I don't
Well,
think I am.
it's
They got the alcoholism.
I don't want
I
to make
you
it about
know,
you guys and whether or not you are likely or possibly autistic because it's like it shouldn't be about I feel like making it about the Kennedys in a way makes it lower stakes for other people to look at this family and analyze their own problems. Do you know what I mean? Because like what's so interesting to me about it too is that like the Kennedys are sort of seen as like this image of I don't know, it's like they're the dynasty, their
but
success.
not RFK. I mean, I feel
But
like
it's
that
fake,
died. I feel
right?
like that died with Ted.
Well,
I
yeah,
don't
it
think.
did that. I'm not saying that it's still around, like it's all
Okay. Okay.
gone.
Yeah.
But that is what they represented, and
Yeah.
they represented that by erasing the very thing that made them capable of doing that in the first place. Do you know what I mean?
Maybe. What did they
Like
erase?
Sandy, like JFK was super disabled in multiple ways, and they hid that so they could have him be elected as president.
Okay. That's just money. If none of the Kennedys had autism, they would have done this anyway. They just have so much money.
Okay, I'm having a couple thoughts here. One, the life expectancy of someone with autism is like 36 or 37 years old, right? Most of the Kennedys die before that anyway. But if you do see what the Kennedys who have survived look like now, they all look like the fucking like stereotypical like old nerd. I mean, they are like if you turn on like that Ethel documentary, do you know what I mean? And you see all the surviving Kennedys and what they look like.
What do they look like though? Just old or what?
No, it's not old. It's like growing up, like people always thought I was like good with computers because I look like Bill Gates. Do you know what I mean? Like, or like bullies
Yeah.
always called me retarded. And even though like I felt retarded inside because adults were always calling me a genius and like testing my IQ, it's like I went with the genius story instead of the retard story. Do you know what I mean? because it's like it doesn't make any sense.
No, listen, I'm with you. What did these old people look like?
Oh, um,
What, like what? How does
Are
an
they
old
like
person?
stimming and
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
they just look like, and I don't want to use because
are
I
you
forget.
trying to say
You
that
guys know about my
it
Camp
looks like
Jabberwocky
their DNA isn't clean?
experience at all? Have we ever? I forget if that ever came up.
What?
That was that's another big piece of this. Like that, I worked at that camp for adults and kids with mental and physical disabilities for years, and like going there really like shattered like so many stereotypes that I'd had, even as someone who was on their way to help. And then even after I'd already got there and I started meeting like autistic people, I mean, you start learning the difference between autistic and Down syndrome. I was always really struck by how all the autistic people seemed just like me, like exactly like me. Like that was really when the seed was planted for me when I started wondering like, am I fucking
But you're
autistic?
not. But you're not autistic. Like loud noises make you curl up into a ball, and you
Well,
have to be
that's the
comfortable all
thing.
the
Yes,
time.
I would have
No, yeah, you want to, but you're high functioning, right? And so it's
no.
like when you think of like the super stereotypical like portrayal of autism, it's the kid rocking in the corner, non-verbal, just like
Yeah,
and that's what RFK was saying about like, oh, they'll never have a job, they'll never do anything. Like he's talking about like the really extreme. I assume it's an extreme
oh, but
autism.
that's not autism what he's talking about. And that's usually and what I sort of learned at the camp when I worked there for a while was like all the people who have those kind of things, it's usually like because God, this is reminding me of like the day, but like you have a week before all the campers show up and you do like a PowerPoint where you look at all of their case histories and stuff and learn about all their different disabilities. And all of those that you're picturing, those kinds of disabilities, it's always the parents like they were drinking and doing drugs or something. It's always some sort of like fetal injury from more unresolved trauma. It's never like because otherwise
One-to-one
autism,
injury damage.
I mean, because people could be trying to have like dinner right now and they don't want to think about like pregnant women getting kicked or whatever, but like that type of shit. Do you know what I mean? Like stuff where like people's bodies were injured, whether it was by choice or, you know, their
Well,
own.
then what is autism then?
But we're
If that's
learning that. Oh wait, what were you? Was there more there?
well, I was just gonna say, like, if my stereotypical like extreme autism is wrong, then what is extreme autism?
Well, so that's part of why it's so because it is a spectrum, but it's also to me it's annoying to make it about the spectrum because when people need to know what something is, you need to like narrow it down, right? Why would you widen the circle? It can be so many different things to it's like I wouldn't want to be the ambassador of autism also because like mine is ADHD and autism together plus like the complex post-traumatic stress disorder of
But how do I spot an autist?
well you
If I
sort of
go out
can't.
there
It's
and
sort
I'm
of like
like,
why people don't like Jews and gays.
no, exactly.
They're
I'm saying
invisible.
like if I
Yeah.
become a brown shirt, what do I do? How do I go out there and like find the autism? What do I look for?
Well, you know Oliver Sacks?
No.
He's like a really famous neurologist. Like I think they even made a show out of him that's on right now. Or that movie Awaken
Numbers?
was
Is it
about him.
numbers?
No,
Oh,
no,
wait,
no.
yeah, sure. Yeah.
He's
Wait.
the one who brought Temple Grandin to the scene. He said that it's really not far-fetched to assume that pretty much every musically inclined person or everyone that you would consider a great musician, they're autistic.
But isn't that what is that? Who benefits from that? Like what
The
doesn't
autistic
that
people
just
themselves because they finally get to
then they have
discover who they are.
someone to look up to or whatever?
What do you mean? Well, no, it's more like because you spend your whole life being punished for something that you're not.
Focusing on the
Or when because
negative
you
or
always
being
mirror what everyone else.
associated with
Yeah, okay. I just I don't know, man. My perspective is once you're done with high school, I don't give a shit. I'm not gonna not be friends with you because you're autistic. I don't know. I just feel like this seems like a lot of kind of like childhood bullying, right?
Oh, well, there
I
definitely is a lot of that, yeah. But it's also but that's
Yeah,
so.
but that's everyone. I mean,
I think
for
it's.
our generation, that's kind of everyone.
Oh,
Like
well, I mean,
it doesn't bother me at all that everyone who's ever been a successful musician is some kind of autist. I'm just coining that now. I'm just going to call him autist.
I like it. I mean, I think about it all the time. I mean, it drives me nuts that people used to call me an autodidact as a kid all the time, but they never could fucking connect the dots to autistic.
That's where you have too many thumbs, right? Autodidact.
It means you can teach like you because I was terrible at school because I didn't give a shit because I just like taught myself stuff. Like I just go read a bunch of books.
So let's get back to RFK.
Yeah.
Willie, do you have anything?
I haven't in my life looked into what autism actually is specifically. And so I definitely have a stereotype in my head of what it is, and learning that people that I know are thriving or creative, or hearing about the musicians that are probably on the spectrum a little bit. I'm like, oh, that's pretty cool. And it's definitely time to redefine that in my head. And I agree with you, Wade, that like, sure, in high school, it's definitely can be a bad thing in social groups, but afterwards, it's like you have a chance to connect to creative people no matter what their situation is. Just saying like, because I mean, we're lucky to be in little creative groups, little pockets of.
You could call it lucky, or you could say that that's what we were searching for,
But
you
can I
know?
cut you
Yeah.
off and like give you an example? Because I feel like I'm not conveying something like an important piece of this, maybe. For example, because it really takes over every aspect of your life. It's like every woman that I ever dated, and also my mom, like whenever I would go to the grocery store, like it was really fucking hard for me, and I never understood why, right? They were like, quit being such a, faggot or whatever. Like, why are you having a
Oh my
meltdown? And
God.
I don't even know, right? But then when you finally find out, like, oh, it's because like grocery stores all have like fluorescent lights and it's sensory overload and it's this and that. And like now with the knowledge of who I am, I can finally go to the grocery store and not want to die. Do you know what I mean? And it's like that, like times a million. There's like so many
Yeah,
things
just
in my
being
life.
able
Yeah.
to identify things associated with it to make your life a little easier,
That
right?
just seems psychosomatic to me, where all you had to do was realize that going to the grocery store wasn't so bad, then you could do it.
Well, part of it is like I went through, it doesn't matter. I know we're trying to wrap up. Sorry.
You did a bunch of therapy or whatever.
And
You
they're all
you
telling me
worked
the
on
wrong
it.
thing. And it's like,
Yeah, yeah.
it's like, I guess you're the doctor, even
My
though
parallel connection is my I was trying to tell my therapist about my anxiety, and she says, well, stop worrying about everything. Okay.
I don't know where you guys are going getting these doctors, man. Like that.
that's the thing. I
If a
don't.
therapist said stop worrying, that's like what? That's not constructive in any way.
Oh man, I mean,
No, it's
no,
not.
I knew how to fix everything after that. It was great.
Yeah, just stop worrying. Fuck it.
I
You
mean,
rob a bunch of banks and shit. Like the
I,
only reason people don't do crime is because they're worried about going to jail. If you just stop worrying, you can do whatever you want.
yeah, I know I'm supposed to say like therapy's good, but as someone who's been through like decades of it, like any help
Doctors
I
are
got was in spite
morons.
of it. It's such a
Yeah.
joke. Like especially like when you start reading like Freud and stuff, and he's like, this is all theoretical. Like therapists don't talk like it's theoretical; they talk like it's science. It's not.
Yeah, and they try to pick up on. I now listen. I know that there are people that have good situations, but I'm like, yeah, like a lot of people are trying to learn how to do things, and they're learning from a book, and or whatever. I don't need to be on some high horse, but I'm just like,
I just
if you're
think the
having a bad
practice
experience, find someone else.
I just think the practice of therapy is to hear yourself say shit out loud, and it's not necessarily like what your therapist tells you to do. That would
But
be mine at least. It's like, oh shit.
I mean, I didn't
I'm
even realize that you're like one of the things that blew my mind in the autism evaluation, that whole thing going through that, like there was one question where she's like, do you get excited to tell people things? And like I did not understand the question. I didn't know you're supposed to tell people things or whatever. Do you know what I mean? Like I forget why I even brought that up.
No, that's interesting. Just
I guess the point
experiencing,
is,
because I remember the first time I flew without anxiety, dude. Like I was just like, oh fuck, this is what people must feel like, like normal. This is what normal people experience.
I mean,
I don't know. I mean, it's interesting that I don't think I've ever been able to see it from a different perspective. Like if I had anxiety about flying, which I have anxiety about getting to the airport, but not necessarily flying. But I don't know that I would relish the idea of not having that.
What do you
Do you know
mean?
what I mean? Like, well, so I've never experienced anything but me. I've never been on the other side. Whereas Willie had all this flight anxiety and then he experienced it without flight anxiety,
Well,
which is could I feel it could be transcendental and world changing
you're
to like
supposed. Sorry.
go on.
Well, because this is like a big thing, I feel like, and people get confused about this. It's like you're supposed to have anxiety and like fear sometimes. There's a reason we have it. It's a survival function. The problem is like, and this is one of the big things that the body keeps the score revealed, was that like when you have unresolved trauma, you have a hypervigilant alarm system, which results in extra anxiety or anxiety all the time. Like, and that totally fucks up the purpose of having anxiety. It's like a smoke alarm going off nonstop. It defeats the purpose of having a smoke alarm if it's always beeping.
And you don't understand being bored when like most of anxiety is just like about being like if you weren't bored, you wouldn't care about like going to a party and seeing people.
Well, it's like I think that's part of how I could not realize I had autism and ADHD so long. 'Cause it's like when I would take a shit as a kid and just stare at the bathroom tiles and make like patterns out of it or whatever, and then like that was enough. Like the carnival never stops. Do you know what I mean? So it's like because
I know what you mean,
Yeah,
but then
I
you're
do that.
also saying that like you sort of you don't want it to be, or do you? Do you want to relax?
well, yeah. I mean, finally, I've really finally been able to start relaxing or like start or like because really. I guess I haven't been as candid as I thought I would be because it's like every day of my life, every waking minute, most of my life, like I wanted to kill myself. Like, and most of the time that you guys knew me throughout like the last decade, it really wasn't only until like a couple of years ago when I finally got the autism evaluation and like that all of that stopped. Like that is what took away my, anxiety and depression. Like it was the undiagnosed autism. It just
The
disappeared.
identification so that you could connect to what you were
Well,
experiencing.
it's like knowing is half the battle, I guess, right? I mean, when
It's
you,
I mean it's a weird headspace to put yourself into. Well, I just think like if I was struggling and then they're like, "Well, you have autism." I don't think that would help me stop struggling. Why
that's
did it
not how
you?
but it's like I heard someone else sort of put it as like it's like having the Rosetta Stone to yourself almost. Do you know what I mean? Like because there's so many like mysteries or stories about myself, like, or you know how like God, there's that Joan Didion line, like we tell ourselves stories in order to live or whatever. Like maybe you think you're like bad at driving. So you always tell yourself that story that you're bad at driving. But like with the neuroplasticity of the brain, you could very quickly become a good driver if you wanted to, but you just keep repeating this story. It's like that perception is reality thing again. So it's
Yeah.
like I'm constantly believing everyone else's lies about me. Or not lies, but it's not the truth because they don't actually know the fact. Like I sort of go through an ego death, like in a good way. It's just like now my life can
It's
finally
just
be.
an interesting perspective that you have on it. And I think like what happened is you got diagnosed as being an autist and then that kind of like solved you allowed that to calm you about all of these other things, right?
It actually like created like a million more problems, and then that sort of really is like
Well, but would those problems have not existed if you didn't get diagnosed, or are you just
I would have
chronologically?
just been stuck or in stasis. Like I wouldn't have been I wouldn't have been able to move forward with my life. Because that's the other thing. Like I've made like so much like the stuff that I've been like I don't know, the last 2 years have been crazy. Like it really is insane.
Well, I mean, you gotta elaborate. What do you mean?
Um,
Good?
yeah, good. Oh, good. Yeah, all good. I mean, definitely bad too. Don't get me wrong, but like, maybe this is burying the lead. And it's
Bearing the lead. We're about to end the show.
well, this is the moral of the story, I guess.
Okay.
It's like my no, I can't do.
What?
I guess I kind of got nervous for a sec. I guess it's because
So you
two
had a bad childhood,
I had a bad
and then
childhood. I had two technically
right.
abusive parents. I had one who was really hands-on and one who was so neglectful because it's not rape like the other one is. Like you sort of don't clock that it's actually abuse, but it's actually just like undiagnosed autism.
That's the worst to me because then you grow up kind of emulating that, thinking that that's the way you're supposed to be.
Exactly,
Yeah,
exactly. That's part
yeah.
of the problem, right? And it results in like ultimately, I hadn't had a dad for forever, but then eventually when I realized like the stuff that my mom had done to me, I mean, we were no, I mean, my mom and I were like no contact for a very long time. And then finally I sort of realized like, oh, because I've already kind of understood that they weren't evil anyway. Like something else was going on there. And the Kennedy, I'd say this thing's sort of like, sorry to cut to the chase. It's like whatever happened here, whatever discovery I made, like it resulted in like me and my mom like talking to each other for the first time yesterday in like years or
Interesting.
however.
Yesterday?
Yeah, just yesterday actually, like
Wow.
because
Okay.
I really was feeling like I don't know if I can go on this pod because I sort of realized like the abuse that I went through with them was kind of like what unlocked my understanding of the whole Kennedy thing. And then I felt like because I also the past 2 years she's sort of been not denying that I'm autistic because that would mean that I mean, my whole family is very obviously autistic. It's the same exact thing, but my family all anyway. We're on the mend now
No, no.
because
Yeah.
of this Kennedy thing. And it was sort, and I feel like if this is me, if this is happening to me, I'm not some anomaly. There's got to be other people out there. There's got to be other people out there who's like, it's like why art is good. Do you know what I mean? Because it gives you like a low stakes venue to look at your own things. And it's like my mom could finally accept all these hard truths that she's been denying because
Crazy.
the spotlight wasn't on her anymore. It was on the Kennedys.
Oh, so you use the Kennedys as like a cipher to explain what you were going through.
Yeah, because like I mean, even you know how like this episode started with you kind of not believing what I was saying, like even
What?
though I'm being
What?
straight with you. I know
I'm
I'm
sorry,
not.
what?
It's okay. It happens to me a
I
lot.
don't think
I hang
that's
out with
ever happened.
autistic
I'm pretty sure
people.
I'm like very open.
No, it's not bad. It's not bad. I'm really wait. I don't know if I've ever told, and you too, Willie. I don't know if I've ever told either of you guys how much I actually love you, but I just don't know if I should do it on mic. Uh, but
Only if you want us to be very uncomfortable.
yeah, no, I don't. I sort of learned that in order a while ago. I mean, God, this is reminding me of how much I fucking hated those D&D games. Because it's like,
Oh, that breaks my heart. I
well,
had
no,
the
because
funnest
I
time.
I loved you guys so much, and I was so excited to like hang out with you. But social interaction is already hard enough. So, and then when you add like the additional layer of like this game that I don't want to play, like it was like so.
You're the worst autist. If you don't like D&D, I don't think we got to take away your
Well, no,
autistic
I'm the
card.
best because I understand the rules are so it's so fucking poorly written.
Well, you know what you need to be as a fucking dungeon master, dude.
Yeah.
Well, that's Spencer made me a dungeon master, and I was the worst one ever. And then he famously wrote an article about how bad I was. Although that's actually, I think, what made him fall in love with me because
Oh,
I was
wait,
such a
what?
bad dungeon
He
master.
didn't name you, did he?
I can't remember, but I remember being upset because I felt like I was having an autistic meltdown in the scene that he was describing, but I wasn't for sure that I was autistic yet. But that does remind me of another funny Spencer story, which goes to show you like the complex trauma that comes with being autistic. One time we were playing D&D or Magic or something. It's like a group of us. Spencer farted, and I apologized as if it was me, knee jerk. Like I didn't even just because I'm so used to taking the blame for
Uh,
everyone else's things, and everyone in the room clearly knew it was fucking his fart. Like, why am I apologizing for it? Like, that's how deep it goes. Like, that's why people should, the body keeps the score, baby.
But here's what I want to say. I want this to be clear to you because I feel like I'm not autistic and I don't know. I've never looked into it. I wouldn't care if I was or wasn't. It doesn't matter because I'm just me. I've figured out me pretty well, right? I'm 40 so and like I'm pretty sure even though like you go back 10 years and read emails and you're like who the fuck wrote that? You know what I mean? But I feel like that's everybody. here's what my point is: when you buy a new car, it's this weird confirmation bias of just now you're seeing that car everywhere. I don't want you to do this thing where like I'm newly autistic. Now I see it in everyone,
Oh
and
no.
that means that everyone's autistic because there's a lot that you're talking about that I think is just a universal struggle. I mean, if we're just talking about like social anxiety and stuff like that, like
That's what's so interesting to me about The Body Keeps the Score. And like I think why it's been around for the past decade, like why it's still on the New York Times bestseller list or whatever. Like the idea that like unresolved or like you know how like narcissists like everyone's really into calling people narcissists right now?
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Like but like most narcissists, the traits of someone who went through narcissistic abuse, it looks very, very similar to undiagnosed autism. So it's like how many people out there that are I mean Trump is another one who is probably very clearly undiagnosed autistic. I mean
You
especially
think
his
so?
fucking
I don't know,
echolalia. Have you
man.
ever
I
just
don't. What's
did you,
HIPAA? What?
oh echolalia. That was sort of
Echo? What's that?
so they used to think it was like
Willie, I'm sorry. You're gonna have to edit all this.
oh yeah, this has got to be tough. I should just come back. It's too much.
Well, let's just continue the conversation. Let's just keep going, man. I mean,
If you
because
guys are
like,
okay with it.
oh no, we're just gonna end this episode and then we're gonna continue talking about because like here's the thing. Like it very quickly became a broad autism discussion. We didn't hear a lot about how RFK is autistic. And I think like I just I I'm 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 cautioning you against just going like, oh, that guy's autistic. Like I guess the reason it ruffles my feathers is because like I don't want every bad person to have an out of like, oh well, yeah, no, but it's because I'm autistic or whatever.
I
And
don't think
like,
he's a bad person.
oh, I do. I'm saying it.
You just believe I, but I don't even think. But I mean,
RFK, yes, he's a bad person. Yes. I can definitively say that he's a bad person.
I,
100%. Dude, would you spend 1 minute with that fucker? Because I wouldn't.
that was sort of the shocking because as I was watching all these documentaries and reading the books and stuff, like I was finding myself starting to like understand him almost or like get him. Like I did not like him when this started, and then the more I learned about him, I started to feel bad.
I think listen, we use the term projection all the time. I see nothing redeemable in him other than he married the Larry David wife actress.
Well, I think that's more
And
proof that he's autistic, and then she just doesn't like Jews. Because Larry David, because it's like you know how Seinfeld came out as
oh,
autistic.
what? Hang on. That's
Yeah.
like put a fucking asterisk on that
Oh,
and
sorry.
say that real life sci-fi does not condone because what you're saying, you're slandering RFK and saying that he doesn't like
No,
Jews
Cheryl
somehow.
Hines doesn't like
Okay,
Jews.
Cheryl Hines, same thing.
I think most people have slandered Cheryl Hines by this point. She's done some pretty bad stuff. I think she's worse than RFK
What
potentially.
does it have to do with being Jewish?
No, no, no. Well, it's like it was more a joke about how she dated Larry David, who is also someone who is about to come out as autistic because Seinfeld just did, and they're basically mirrors of each
Well,
other
but she only
anyway.
dated him in the show though. That was her
But Larry David
role.
and RFK Jr. are friends.
Well, I would be
He's,
friends with any Kennedy that fucking came around. I'll take your money. Sure, please,
I
sir.
thought you
I
said they're
believe all
bad
of your
people.
brainworm thoughts. They are. I don't care. I'll take any bad people's money.
Just as a
You think
reminder.
my ethics, you think my ethics stop at getting money from
I mean,
people?
you did just quote a couple of the bad characters in The Wire. What's that line that gets repeated a lot in one episode? I'll take any motherfucker's money if he's giving it away. And they put that in like four different
Yeah,
characters'
dude, if people
mouths.
are stupid enough to give me money, I will take it.
Okay.
I do not care where you came from.
I don't have any
If you're
money for you,
giving
but
me
I'll give
money,
you
I'll
love.
take it. Huh?
I said, I don't have any money for you, but I'll give you love, Wade. I think you're a good guy. I
Love
think
is the
you are
last
too,
thing I need.
Willie.
I don't like that. I'm repulsed by it.
Why do you think that is?
Listen, it has nothing to do with autism. We have to wrap this episode
Yeah,
up.
yeah. Let's get out of here. We'll probably continue something in this realm for our
No, I think
bonus.
this is it, man. I think that we just keep doing this more. I'm sorry you were doing such a good job at like emceeing, and I fucking blew it. Go on, and then I'll say the end. You do the thing, and then I'll say the end.
Yeah, well, you can, if you want to listen to us go deeper, you can find us at patreon.com/RealLifeSciFi.
Oh, wait, before you finish, Adam, do you have anything that you want to plug or point people towards? Social media, anything like that?
No.
This motherfucker.
Thank you. No, I wouldn't want anybody to think that I came on here to.
Nobody thinks anything about you.
I know that.
They tune in for me and Willie. You're just the guy that we're talking to.
Some people hate me and they will listen to this
No one okay, listen, we can talk about that off air, but
yeah.
I think okay. Let's stop. That's just such a narcissist thing to say. And you drew the
connection to
connection or what's it called when you comparison to narcissism and autism.
Because
we gotta stop though. But I feel like living your life thinking that someone's gonna find a podcast that you were on just to listen to it. I think
you're misinterpreting what I said, I think.
Okay.
But I think this is also a classic. All of it. I mean, because you don't. I mean, unfortunately, this is sort of like a classic denial. I mean, denial is the first stage of grief, and you don't want.
I know, and that's why it's such a catch-22.
It's going to. It's a big part of it sucks to be like, oh, my whole entire life was a lie. Like, you're not.
It's not. It's your perspective. All I'm saying is
like, it's okay.
No, I'm saying that like.
Okay, you one more question while we're here. Why do you drink?
Okay. Why are you asking me that? Because like, are you
so fucking relevant?
Are you gotchaing me right now?
No, I'm just asking because I feel like if you don't like it and you ever wanted to stop.
I love drinking. It's my favorite thing.
I'm not. I obviously drink and smoke too, so I'm not trying to shame you.
I do it because it feels fucking great.
It is becoming increasingly clear to whatever. It doesn't matter. I don't want.
What? No, please, Jesus Christ! You can't jump. You gotta fucking.
I'm gonna rephrase because I don't want you to feel shame. I don't.
You can say anything to me right now. I don't
humiliated for being
shamed for drinking. Please.
Well,
you think I'm that thin-skinned? I'm a fucking writer in Hollywood, man. All I get is rejection. And I would consider you shaming me as a rejection.
No. But I just said that I would never shame anybody. I wouldn't shame you.
Oh, I thought you were saying that as a forethought to the bomb you were.
Oh, no. I'm saying that I'm pretty sure that most of the things that I said were misinterpreted there, as often happens. It's sort of part and parcel of the fucking autism. It's also why
But it can't all be because of the autism.
Of course, it can't all be.
Okay, that's all I wanted to make clear.
It is, and when people,
sure,
when it's like when you tell someone,
I'm just like, just because you got diagnosed with autism, here's my standpoint. Just because you got diagnosed with autism doesn't mean I'm gonna fucking let you off the hook. In fact, it probably means I'm gonna be a little bit meaner. Yeah. No, I feel like we've displayed that tonight.
But I feel like we didn't go hard enough. Like
hey, listen, we got another 2 hours. So listen, we got to stop this. We got to stop.
Yeah, let's get out of here.
All right. Just because you're paranoid, don't mean they're not after you. Thanks for listening. Patreon.com/RealLifeSciFi. We'll see you next time. Adam Garland, thank you so much for being here.
You're welcome, or thanks for having me. Whatever human beings say.
Alienism.
Look, I wore my Maryland shirt for tonight.
What's a Maryland shirt? Oh, Maryland. That's funny.
Oh, because of the
I didn't know. I wonder if I have any Kennedy shit. I doubt it. Real Life Sci-Fi.